Hello, everyone. Welcome to Scoundrels, Inc., the only podcast about Star Wars. If there are other podcasts about Star Wars that you know and love, guess what? I'm sorry, they're gone. Just like that. That's it.
Not even.
Thanos snapped them.
Just us. We're the only ones left. Anyways, today we're going to talk about Christmas, Star Wars on Christmas, our favorite Christmas memories of Star Wars. We got a couple Fallen Order updates.
And we're going to sing some Christmas carols.
We're going to sing
do one of those two things just
some
mentioned.
Christmas carols. And we have questions from you guys, the fans. We actually got a lot more than we expected. Kind of excited about that.
More than one?
We got more than one.
Even a video one.
And none of them were troll questions, which was kind of shocking to me.
And a little bit disappointing.
Why would
And a
anyone
little
ask
bit
about
disappointing.
trolls in Star Wars? Trolls are in Harry Potter.
And okay, you went to Harry Potter?
Well, you know.
Pop quiz. What's Mark Ellis's favorite Star Wars?
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi.
You know, it's also my favorite Star Wars.
Is it?
Maybe it makes Mark happy when I say that, so I like to keep Mark happy. I like all Star Wars equally, except the ones I don't. If you want to find out more about which Star Wars I don't love as much, stay tuned. The next 9 weeks, guys, we are going to do a breakdown of all 9 Star Wars movies.
The Skywalker Saga, because there's more than 9 movies.
Nope, there's only 9 Star Wars movies. You've got go. You've got 4, 5, 6. You've got 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
You've got 7. 8
and 9.
and Rogue One.
Okay, I see what's going on now. So look forward to that discussion in 9 weeks.
Solo's also pretty great.
I like Solo, yeah.
I should have not said episode 1 and said Solo, but
That'd have been funny. But yes, we are going to be doing a Skywalker Saga breakdown, review, discussion through the next 9 weeks. Those episodes will be releasing on Mondays, and we'll still have our regular Scoundrel Inc. Bad Batch breakdown and reviews on the Thursdays. So we'll be on Mondays and Thursdays starting next week. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Probably.
Well, actually not next week, the week after that. In 2 weeks, we'll have 2 episodes. Next week is just the one on Thursday. I know it's a little confusing, but you'll get used to it.
Yeah, and we may have some more stuff tagged onto one episode or the other.
Yeah, we'll see. We're
we
adjustable.
We got to get ready for Mando. We got to talk about Fallen Order,
the book and game.
the book and Jedi Survivor, the book.
Well, sure,
game.
it's one of the same.
Yeah. We got to talk about this lovely cat that's walking around our studio today.
Yeah.
Named Toast.
Toast.
All right. Well, have you guys watched or played or done anything with Star Wars this week?
Kevin, where are you at in your watch?
Yeah.
Is it stalled because it's busy season?
Let me guess.
Busy dad season?
It's stalled. I did watch Ambush, which was the first broadcasted episode of Clone Wars, and I remember watching it when I lived in Austin in 2008. And it was with Yoda and a little batch of clones.
You lived with Yoda in Austin?
I did.
Actually, Yoda lived in Austin?
Yeah,
That's
Yoda
incredible.
lived in Austin?
It's great. It's a great episode. It's Yoda's being tested by a bunch of traps set by droids and set by Asajj Ventress, and they're fighting over who can use Toydaria as a staging ground for the war. And of course, there's a great. I just remember this from when I first saw the show, and I remember thinking like, "Oh, there's a lot of promise for this." There's a scene in the cave where Yoda's like, he's like, take your helmets off.
The cave.
They're like,
the cave. Remember the cave.
They're like, we all have the same
I got to fill in
face.
for Brandon.
We all have the same face. It doesn't matter. He's like, no, the Force can see you and whatnot. And he goes around each clone and tells them like, focused always are you on your weapons.
No, he did the 3.
Yeah, with the 3. Like, focused are you with your weapons instead of your mind. And
wrong one.
When you do the
But
3,
it has-
do you do these 3? Or
I do
these?
these 3.
I do. I think it's these 3 because they're
Sorry.
not.
it's okay. But yeah, then they had Yoda's theme playing. It's good. It was just like I remember watching that and I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool. Like remember back then when the Clone Wars came out, like
We knew nothing.
we knew nothing and we didn't know that there was probably never gonna be another movie out there. Because George said the live action was done with Revenge of the Sith, so it was like getting your hands on anything Star Wars is really special. So
And then we got 5 more.
so that's how far I got. So, but again, I got to watch the Christmas movies and the cartoons, Winnie the Pooh.
Well, and you got
Elf, it's just the
Wow,
holidays. What
Are
am
you
I
gonna
supposed to do?
rewatch? Are you gonna rewatch A New Hope before? We do the New Hope yet?
Oh, I know I could recite A New Hope without
All right.
rewatching it.
We'll see about that.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, we'll
I'm
see
old
about
school,
that.
bro.
Recite the crawl right now.
Guys,
It is a
next,
period of civil war. Rebel
Yeah,
spaceships
no!
striking from a hidden base have won their first victory against the evil galactic empire. I can continue?
Yeah. Can
No,
you?
I don't
Okay.
You know what? Here's a better question, Kevin. Who wrote the opening crawls in universe?
In universe?
Yeah,
I thought you were going to talk about how
What?
there's an answer.
Brian
to
De
this.
Palma helped him write it.
No, there's an answer to this.
What is it?
Journal of the Wills.
Journal of the Wills. That's correct.
Okay.
That's what the scrolls are from.
Yeah, that's from the certain point of view books. There's actually chapters
Oh.
in certain point of view books of them writing the crawls.
Yeah,
They're hilarious.
That's
They're great.
funny. And then they just start throwing the letters out into space. They just chuck them out there.
No, I think that's just for our benefit.
Oh, okay.
I don't think canonically they're flying.
Wait. So those are actually that's actually written down somewhere in the universe.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. It's a weird.
You know, Star Wars is a true story.
But it's a long
it's a
time
long-
ago.
long time ago in a
ago.
galaxy far, far away.
away. Just
Yeah.
way out there.
How about you? What are you guys watching?
So this doesn't really count. I have to go back and restart season 2 or halfway between season 2 of Clone Wars because I put it on and then I just let it go as I was working, and so I wasn't really paying full attention to it. I do like having Star Wars, whether it's a movie or even Clone Wars or Rebels, on as a background
Amen.
as I'm working. I just like it sets like the atmosphere and the tone. It just it's nice and cozy. Something's going on, and I was working on a bunch of different stuff, and the episodes just stopped playing. I was like, what the hell? And it's like, do you want to start season 3? I was like, dang, I went through all of season 2. That's a lot of episodes to really just have mosey on in the background. Other than that, I played a little bit more Fallen Order, obviously. And it's just a lot of fun just to go in there. And I'm like just taking my time with the game, just absorbing the entire
I don't know if I'm gonna
game
get a
and
chance
atmosphere.
to go through it again before.
Yeah, I mean, I last played the game in June, actually. I looked at my save file, and the last time I played it all the way through, was in June. So now I'm doing it like 6 months later.
I think I did
which
it
is
in.
nice.
I think I did it in August. Fucking love that game, but I just don't know. We got so much going on, and I'm so busy with other stuff that I don't know that I'm gonna get a chance to go through it. But I have been when I'm just like sitting at my desk with nothing better to do. I've been booting up. I talked about this a little last week. Been booting up Squadrons.
Oh yeah, you talk about this.
And just playing against the AI. There's a map called Frostar Haven, which was they released kind of a free update for the game. They put the B-Wing and the TIE Defender.
Okay.
And a new map. And so I've been flying the versus AI missions. Some Fallen Order news. Really, it's more confirmation of some stuff I had said on the show. I had mentioned how it looks like in the trailer that there's lightsaber stances. And I think it was a video from IGN came out and confirmed there will be 5 lightsaber stances.
Vapad? Will it be Vapad?
Well, no, not like those lightsaber stances. You'll have the single.
That's a Mace Windu shout out.
You'll have the single blade from the first game.
Yeah.
Double blade from the first game.
Yeah.
The 2 blade, which is new.
Dual wielding.
And it looks like that's focused on speed.
Which I think we kind of knew because it's in the trailer.
Yeah, it looks like that. And then the great sword, sort of with the crossguard.
Answer me this: when you play the game, is there a twirl button where you can just twirl just to look like a badass?
Oh,
I mean, if you hit the attack,
like an
button.
emo kind of thing.
Well, like in KOTOR, there's a button that's only used when you have your lightsaber. You press it.
Oh
and
yeah.
You just like twirls it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He twirls it with one.
It's like an emo
or
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that what it's called? Isn't that the wording?
It's an
Emo.
emote.
Right.
Emote.
I thought you were saying emo.
Yeah, I
well,
thought you were saying emo.
yeah.
You're starting to listen to
Story of
emo
the year.
music.
Story of the year, yeah. A little bit of Frank was listening to some Hawthorne Heights.
No, anyways.
Frank and I are starting an emo band, by the way.
I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of Jedi are emo because like they're not allowed to love. So they're just like,
I don't know. Emo's all about hate and anger.
a lot of Sith emo then.
You know, so
Wait, what would a Jedi's name be with emo in it? Like emo one, like
Emo 1 Kenobi.
emo
And
one
B2
Kenobi.
EMO.
well,
Your
okay,
favorite.
that's your favorite.
All right, so back to Jedi Survivor. So five stances. We've got single blade, double blade, the 2 blades, and then we have the crossguard.
you, Frank?
Yeah,
That
that
was
was
me.
Frank.
That was me.
Oh,
That was the-
wow.
We have
Frank.
the crossguard greatsword, which is going to favor power over
Speed.
And what they said was that the timing windows are bigger, so you have to be more careful with that
Ah.
because you can't react to block as easily. And then they also said, which we haven't seen in the trailer, but we've seen from promo shots, blaster and saber is one of the stances.
Gotcha.
So, and then also they said that you have to tame the mounts, so it's tameable mounts.
Okay.
Because we see him running around riding like
Right.
what looks like like a sort of silly tauntaun, a different tauntaun.
Copy.
And then you will have occasional AI companions, which is what we see with the guy whose name I can't remember in the trailer. So that's exciting. I'm glad to get that confirmed with the saber stances. It does remind me of Dark Souls a little bit more, so that's cool. But yeah, hey, have you noticed how like every planet in Star Wars has their own tauntaun?
No.
Well, you've got the EOP.
That's a
Oh, you mean
tauntaun?
like it's
Just their
version
own-
of...
Yeah,
It's
they
like
got
the
their-
mascot.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think they're going to put on their flag? If not to have their own tauntaun.
Does the Hoth flag have a tauntaun? I
Yeah.
think it'd have a womp on.
It's like blue. It's like, you know what it's like? It's like the Japan flag. Like instead of a red dot, it's a blue dot, and then in front
And
of
there's
it
a
has
tauntaun
the silhouette of a tauntaun.
Okay.
You have the EOP. You have the
Sure.
the falafel. What's the one on Naboo called?
That's a food.
Falafel?
Yeah.
Shaq.
No, those are the
That's what Anakin rides.
yeah.
the
But what's
Shaq.
the one that Jar Jar and Captain Tarple's riding?
on Naboo?
Yeah, I just had this in my head the other day. I was just thinking
You're the
about
Star
these
Wars
things.
player.
You know what? I was just thinking about like for a D&D thing, like that'd be a cool mount to have for a. But you know,
And on Jakku, it's the Hapabor. Is that what it is? The big thing that was drinking out of the water?
yeah, with the butthole. It's got a butthole.
Wow.
Have
What
you
else?
seen that
Why
movie?
not?
It's got a butthole.
I mean, yeah, it's true. But, I mean, yeah,
It's in frame.
it is. And I'm replaying in my head.
You got the father ears.
Father year?
Sure.
You've got
That's
the,
on the flag too, but it's like 3 father year. You know it would be cool to make football helmets of each of, like, if they were like teams, like the
this has been done.
Canto Bite Fathiers.
You know this is right, but you know that someone's gone through and taken every NFL team and made a Star Wars
Oh
version of it.
yeah.
Have you not seen that?
No.
All right, I'll find that for you.
Yeah,
I'll
I've
find
seen
that
this
for
a
you.
while ago.
excited.
You know what? Maybe we'll do this. Maybe we'll do this as a Scoundrels drink. We'll have you react to.
Yeah, I promise I won't Google it
All right.
because that sounds fun.
Um.
That'd be fun.
Anyways,
What else we got for Survivor? Anything else?
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
I just thought it was cool that it confirms kind of what we were thinking.
Yeah.
I didn't want to, because we had already talked about it, I didn't want to leave it hanging. But hey, Star Wars on Christmas. It's Christmas time on Andor.
And before we get
Christmas
into
tree.
Christmas, let's talk about these books here on the.
Yeah, thanks, pal.
Oh, you want so
Yeah.
you want to take credit for your gifts, but Kevin's gifts last week we didn't want to talk about.
I don't need credit for my gifts. I do it because I'm like Santa Claus. My daughter even looked at a
Well,
picture of Santa Claus. And
You
said,
guys,
Papa,
I didn't ask you to display them on the table.
The table, right?
I'm
we
proud
did
of
though.
it, bro.
Although they're out of focus after we changed the focus.
And I feel like if we move it, it might make it in focus.
It
and then
shouldn't, because I
ruin
put it
all.
on manual, and
Yeah,
so it shouldn't.
So I'm actually
yeah.
quite excited about this. This is
Put by your
the
face. It should be in
how
focus.
not to be eaten by Ewoks, and it's a survival guide for various situations in
Which
Star
bums
Wars.
me out because I was kind of hoping one day you'd get eaten by Ewoks and we'd have a story to
Did you hear
tell.
that?
Yeah, it's
Did you
brand
break it?
new.
No, it was a beautiful spine. When you first open a book,
Yeah,
it's got a great spine crack noise,
And
which
it-
I can't do again because it already.
Right,
did it
but
once.
Read one page. It already sounds ridiculous.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, what else?
Just
Is
one top of the.
How to survive a?
Crash. Oh, there was another great crack there.
That's a good crack, dude.
Crash landings, do or do not. Do eject from your ship in an escape pod if you have a clear path out. Make sure your beacon is set so resources can find you. Do not jump into murky waters if you crash into a muddy swamp. You don't know what lurks beneath. Do guide your ship as best you can towards an unpopulated area. Innocent beings on the ground will thank you. Do not leave identifying material in your escape pod or wreck ship if you're in enemy territory or if you're on the run from the law.
I feel like they just took that from like the FAA manual.
Maybe, but they've got
You would
they've
know.
got they've got they've got the how to crash land your ship. It's
flow chart.
number 1, don't panic. Fire reverse thrusters, and it's got it's the scenes from that
Attack of-
Star
oh,
Wars
it's
movie. No,
Revenge of the Sith.
that's the one.
where
Adjust-
the ship that Anakin's flying. Remember?
which is the
I don't know.
Invisible hand.
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's right. Grievous' ship.
Adjust heat controls, aim well, activate landing protocols, alert emergency crews, and buckle up.
It's gonna be a happy landing, folks.
Another happy landing.
But yeah, I got you that book because I feel like you
did
a
it.
lot of like Yeah, great.
I love the mundanities.
You
of
do
Star
have
Wars.
like the
Yeah.
mundane. I felt like this spoke to me when I saw it. I was like, I gotta get
I
this
love
for
it.
Sean.
That's like legitimately. That's one of the things that. It's one of the reasons I like Andor so much, right? Because Andor is so much of the mundane in Star Wars,
Okay, sure.
right? Like it actually showcases that stuff, and that's like the certain point of
you
view.
see
books.
cereal in it.
Yeah, right. Like it's what other Star Wars product we have? Someone
And
eating,
noodles.
eating breakfast
Yeah.
and blue noodles. Blue noodles?
Blues. Kevin, I
You got me a
got.
book called "I Am Your Father." It's just father anecdotes. I mean, I don't think that Vader was the ideal father to listen to, but it's actually not about it. Like this page talks about listening to your children and cites Omega talking to Hunter when he says she's trying to save her family. Hunter, I'd do the same for you. So sometimes you got to listen to the kids. Those kids are smart.
Who's
So-
Omega?
Oh, Sean.
Wait, do you mean Omega?
Oh boy. Okay. And then what we
You
got.
say Omega, I say Omega.
And I know Brandon's not here, but I did get him a book as well. And it's the super cool science of Star Wars, the saber-swirling science behind the Death Star, aliens, and life in that galaxy far, far away.
This
The
will be a
unofficial guide.
test to see if Brandon watches this episode
Yes.
when he's not on it.
And I expect a text me, thanks, Frank.
See, when I did a test for Janine last week, and I talked about her
That's right, you
hometown
did.
Fresno, and I never got a message from her, which means she didn't watch it. 'cause
Wow.
She would've.
No, she left a comment.
She
Yeah,
left a comment?
Yeah, she
When?
did.
Recent?
Yeah,
Well,
I think she comments on
I
everything.
stand, I stand corrected, and now I'm probably going to get a text about this.
But only if she listens to the show will you get a.
But
So-
then, you know what? This book helps me with this next one. It says, no one has all the answers, and it shows Luke saying, I'm sorry. So, sorry, Janine.
So
Thanks for this book.
I told you guys what my Christmas gift to you guys was. They didn't come. They were expensive. They didn't get here. I don't know if they're going to get here.
First of all.
Yes, that's,
You know-
that's very funny.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah,
they didn't come. Yeah, Kevin.
Yes.
Well, you need to get us some presents that come, dude.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
you know, Well, if you let me finish,
the only one saying
Kevin.
that?
No, I mean I hear it.
Kevin, if you let me finish.
Well, I didn't let those women finish. Sorry. Bad.
Anyways,
I just got canceled on a show that only gets 200 views.
Impressive, actually.
Wait, this is the
That's pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, this is the one that goes big. It gets 2.1 million views.
So, anyways, there was a.
But also, I should say, it'd be remiss if I didn't thank Kevin on air for his gifts to us last week. I got a Cassian Andor Rogue One Cassian Andor, not an Andor Cassian. There is a difference. Did get a
I tried
Rogue
to
One
find
Black Series Cassian, so that was great.
and I got
knew
a Death Watch Trooper, which was one that I was gonna buy myself.
Shove it,
now I don't
Saul.
have to.
I did that on purpose against you, Saul. Just kidding. I had no idea, Saul, that
And
you
then-
had a thing going with this.
and
thing.
then Brando got Kenobi.
Kenobi, yes.
That's right.
From the Obi-Wan
And I had
show.
bought the presents already, and then I saw a pair of these guys at an event, and I went up and I'm like, hey, so I went up to Frank, and you must have been like, why did you ask me that? I was like, so, Cassian Andor is your favorite Star Wars character, right? Like, I didn't even ask you who it was. I was like trying to like force mind you.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, he's up there. And then I walk over to Hannah, and I'm like, Hannah. And I was like, Obi-Wan's your favorite Jedi, right? He's like, oh, by a landslide. I'm like, I turn around, I'm like, yes.
You know what Black Series figure they have that's really cool? It's got an open slipcase cover. They have Luke from Heir to the Empire.
Ooh.
Oh
and,
yeah.
And it's got the Heir to the Empire cover, and it opens up,
Oh,
and then it
nice.
displays Luke, and it comes with a Salamiri.
Oh, I love that.
From Heir to
See,
the
that's
Empire.
so cool. And again, if they had 3 of them, I was gonna get them. They had a Star Wars Visions Black Series white Vader, like all white armor, good light side Vader, redeemed Vader. They only had 2, and I didn't want to show up with 2 and then give one person like.
I think
something
you could
they
have
didn't
gave
want.
Sean us the Vaders and Brandon the Obi-Wan. I
Still,
think
he
would
would've
have
been
worked.
fine.
I think it would have
and-
worked.
Yeah.
Well, I will say I prefer the Death Watch.
And I
Trooper
kind of do
to-
prefer the Cassian just because
See,
like
then
I
the
think
white-
White
it worked out.
Well, see what should have happened. You
I
should
bought it for
you
myself.
should have bought yourself the
I'm an
White
idiot.
Vader, and you didn't. It's fine. We've talked about doing some field episodes. We're gonna do a field episode soon. That's gonna
hopefully we'll figure that out. Yeah.
have some of that. All right. So
Christmas.
Christmas Star Wars. I don't have a lot of Christmas Star Wars.
Okay. That's
I
unfortunate.
will say every Christmas, I started doing this about 5 years ago. Every Christmas, I turn on the Star Wars Holiday Special. Christmas morning.
Then you turn it off immediately, or
Well, so what we do on Christmas? We go to my mom's house in good old Southern California. Big surprise.
Snowy.
And
Is it snowing?
good snowy Orange County, California. You know, the only place where you can go from snow and surf. Not really. You can't do that.
Yeah, you can.
Well, you can, but
I
not.
did,
Not
I did
down
it
there.
once in high school. We
But not
woke
by-
up
in
early
Orange
and-
County.
But you can't stay in Orange County and do it.
Oh no, you can't do that.
Yeah, you gotta
But
go
in Southern
drive
California.
up.
We woke up early and
You're born and raised here.
what's that?
You're born and raised here.
Yeah, born and raised
Okay.
here. Yeah, we woke up early and we surfed like crack of dawn.
And then drove up to Wrightwood.
No, not Wrightwood, but Big Bear.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's-
or
that's
Arrowhead.
a-
I forget. It was like the one that's like closest, right? And we.
Well,
and
that's
then
right. Wrightwood's the closest. Big Bear is.
I think it was Big Bear.
Yeah.
We were able to make it, like
Yeah.
because like we were done surfing by like 9:30
Yeah.
in the morning, and that's back then like it gets chopped up. So yeah, you can do it. It's exhausting.
No, it's a long.
I wonder if the reverse would have been better, where you do the snowboarding in the morning or skiing.
No,
in the
because you need to go
morning.
surfing in the morning.
Well, you
could
do the
it.
sunset
You could do it. Yeah,
you
can
could,
surf.
but
I mean, I don't surf, so I don't know. But
Yeah, I used to
do you-
surf, but
do
I
you-
sucked at
Do you
it. So
snowboard, Kevin?
I do. I'm not good at any of it, but I can do
But
it.
you
I
wanna
can
go
snowboard. I can ski. I can
snowboard?
surf. I can
Ski?
bodyboard.
I could learn real quick.
All right, cool. Let's
Like, come on,
We're gonna do a Scoundrels ski trip next year.
Yeah. And we'll call it Scoundrels.
Ski.
I love Scoundrels drink.
skink.
Yeah, Scoundrels skink.
No,
Actually, if we did ice
that's when we
skating,
go to-
we
that's-
We
could
can do whatever we.
If we
Scoundrels rink.
Yeah, I was about to say if we did.
You know what?
Ice
We can
skating,
only do things
Scoundrels
that rhyme
rink.
with ink. So
Yeah.
it's pink.
Well-
we could do pink, sink, link, dink.
Is that where I play Legend of Zelda? On
Yes.
But by the way, yeah, if you haven't watched our Scoundrels Drink with Sean and I, it's on the channel. I'll tell you that
it's
much.
on the channel.
It was fun. I liked it. You guys
You know,
make me laugh.
we could do go down to Florida and hunt for those little lizards. That's Scoundrel Skink.
Oh, and then we could have a special episode where it's called Scoundrels Blink, and we just stare at the camera and blink.
Okay, that's enough.
I hope everybody was blinking.
I
can't
was
tell.
blinking.
All right, so
stupidly.
So
yes.
anyways, we go to we go to my mom's, and once everyone gets there, her and my dad start making breakfast, and I would always go turn on the Star Wars Holiday Special. So when everyone finally gets to the living room, they're like,
They just throw up their food.
yeah, they're like, fucking hell. 'Cause
You know,
it's-
I've never
I know we're gonna
seen it, so
we're gonna watch it together. I can't wait for that.
maybe this is the year. I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe.
I doubt it, but I doubt it.
About this year or next year?
Yes.
One of these years. When does this air?
Kevin,
Yeah. Hi.
Star Wars Christmas memories. You brought this up to the group, so I'm curious if something like
Yeah,
really
yeah,
stands
this
out for
was
you.
your idea.
Yeah, I just thought it would be fun. I don't have any actually. So to be honest, like the toys and all that, I was more a He-Man and G.I. Joe kid. But my neighbor had. I remember when he got the Imperial Walker on Christmas morning, and I was looking at it. I was like, wow, like that was so crazy. But for my Christmas memories, I remember playing the hell out of we talked about it last week, so I won't get into it. But Shadows of the Empire, playing that level of Hoth, and my family around there, and because the morning I got the Nintendo 64, so playing the Hoth level over and over kind of brings me that makes me think of Christmas. But for me,
mostly playing it over and over because it's so damn hard.
it was so cool though, man, with the tow cable and
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
One
Sure.
part in Shadows of the Empire, because I couldn't figure out how to beat the AT. It's an ST, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
AT-ST. You could get to a certain spot
in-
where
in
it just
the Hoth base,
in the
right?
Hoth base where it just stands there, and I remember I was right by the foot, and I was just shooting the foot, and it took an hour.
But you could get it.
But I finally killed it. It just.
It's so hard.
That's.
But there's a way quicker way to
That
do
is-
it, which I eventually learned. But for the first time, I was like,
Can you imagine a soldier doing that? Really,
"Wait, hold on, guys."
I'm just withering away at this.
Hey, whatever works, right? In war, whatever works.
That
Well,
game, I will say this. Ord Mantell, you see it, and there's a cool train ride where you're on top of the train, and then at the end, it culminates in a junkyard battle against IG-88. And let me tell you something. IG88 was so hard. It took me so long to beat.
Oh
him,
my
and
gosh, yes.
It would give me anxiety as I would like approach. Like, oh my god, here it is, and because
Like,
he would just
legitimate
jump
scary.
around. Yeah,
Like,
he would jump
scary.
around, and then you couldn't find him, and all of a sudden he just pops up, and he's like whooping your ass. So
That's probably the level that as a kid I don't know how I fucking beat it. I was stuck on it for so long.
Yeah.
and you finally was there a save feature? Probably right or
No.
Kinda. But I will say that is my favorite music. The train.
Oh my gosh,
Which is
really
I
good.
believe Boba Fett's Escape.
I don't know the track title.
Yeah,
No, I
but
don't know.
it's from Empire. But
well, no, a lot of the soundtrack too is from the soundtrack that was written for the game too.
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of
be
it
from
is reused. No, it's not. It's not. A lot of it is reused Empire.
Interesting.
Let's
Yeah, because we did-
reuse. So it's actually John Williams.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna
well,
look this
some of
up.
it's
I'm gonna look-
rescored.
yeah, oh,
and
there we go,
re-
backtracking already. Okay.
Re whatever.
I
But
use a lot of the
because
sound-
we did a back when I was part of the PJ Campbell network, we did best retro video game soundtracks, and
Oh, nice.
everyone's like, "Oh, well, Shadows of the Empire," and I looked at it, I'm like, no, I went back and looked through that whole soundtrack, and a lot of it is not rescored, but
Well, yeah, they probably use a lot of it. Yeah,
or
'cause I
some of
remember
it's rescored, but it's not new
the
music
Boba Fett
necessarily.
thing. The dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
that's a
in there.
lot. Yeah.
Dun, dun,
So here's a
dun,
track
dun,
listing.
dun,
It's
Dun,
dun,
dun, that's in it. That's part of the military base or
The track listings for Shadows of the Empire.
He's talking about the official written one.
Yeah,
which
but
is
I'm
CD,
just going
which is
over
great, too.
the. So we have main theme in Leia's Nightmare.
used in KOTOR.
Because
Track 2 is the Battle of Gaul. Track
Used in
3,
KOTOR.
Imperial
okay,
City.
but these are not.
Track
These are not these are not for the game. This is its own thing that was released.
Some of it was used in the game, though.
Some of it was used in the game, yes, but a lot of it was just the Empire Strikes Back
Yeah,
score.
it was a lot of
So
it Empire.
because they released,
Yeah, because this music's by Joe McNeely.
yeah, but they
okay.
because they released
That's
an
for the
al-
book.
they released
the
an
audio-
album
audio
to
CD.
coincide with
Okay.
the book.
You know what? I gotta.
But Rogue Squadron has a killer fucking soundtrack. That's all new music,
Well, yeah, I remember hearing that.
and it's
had that N64 sound to it too.
oh, it's
like
great. It's wonderful. And that's my Christmas game that I remember is Rogue Squadron. Played the hell out of that.
Yeah,
I mean, I
so
got
good.
Battle when I was in like junior high school or whatever. I got Battlefront 2.
When I was later in life, I think I got the lightsaber, the expensive lightsaber when they were first out. Like the durable ones. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got that as a gift. And then my only other thing about my main thing I like to talk about Christmas is, and I made a tweet about it, is I miss Christmas movie releases in the Star Wars world.
Oh yeah.
To be honest, to me, The Force Awakens is a Christmas movie. So is Rogue One. Those two movies were so synonymous with that Christmas season because I saw them so much in the theater, and I saw them literally like be the day after. I saw it when it first came out. Then I saw it a couple days before Christmas. Then I saw it after Christmas. Rey's theme even has the bells, dun dun dun, and it to me it was such a misfire when they did not release Solo in Christmas. And what an alternate universe we would have if Solo released in Christmas.
Yeah.
It probably would have done gangbusters, and then you see an Obi-Wan movie instead of a show, and then
It changes everything. Yeah,
it
that
changes
Solo
everything.
changed
Yeah.
everything for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to watch The Force Awakens. Actually, I'm going to skip ahead in my rewatch and watch Force Awakens as a Christmas movie. I contend for me that not only is Die Hard a Christmas movie, but The Force Awakens is a Christmas movie as well.
I will agree with you.
memories.
Although I mean, it's funny because, yeah, you get to Starkiller Base and it's covered in snow and it gives you that traditional Christmassy feel with snow. But being released during that time of year, I think does something to, I think maybe movies in general, but I guess specifically with Star Wars, or at least The Force Awakens rather. Well, I guess and Last Jedi and Rise Skywalker being released during the holiday season that way, it does form kind of an attachment
Yeah.
to that part of the year where there's that familiar, that warm feel of Star Wars because it's all about again family and found family and stuff like that.
I would
So-
have my friends too from the gang that work on KOTOR. They're from across the country. One guy's in Nebraska, one's in West in Wyoming. I think he's gonna kill me if I get that wrong. But, no, he works for the University.
We're just
of
sending
Wyoming.
Christmas cards
But
this
they
year.
would fly out they flew out for the Force Awakens. They flew out for the Rogue One. We liked all watching it together because then it would get us all inspired with the KOTOR stuff. And so it was so synonymous. Like then you're
it's
out
cool,
at the
yeah.
promenade. We would see it at the promenade. and like it's all decorated for Christmas and the Christmas trees, and it just became so. I really missed that experience.
I will say
And I hope they go back to that, but I wonder if they'll try to take over summer.
I think they'll keep Christmas.
I think because the MCU will still dominate
they've
summer.
learned.
Yeah, and I think that was why it went to the Christmas season to begin with, because the MCU was like killing it during the summer releases. So you had both these properties. Why would you
release?
But it also
3
depends.
weeks before fucking Infinity or Age of Ultron. No, sorry.
It was Endgame.
Endgame. Insane.
Yeah.
Or sorry, Infinity War. Not
I'm
Endgame.
supposed to say attachments are forbidden. Right? But I mean for me, Force Awakens definitely has more of a Christmas feel to me than Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker does.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know why that is. I think it was maybe because we had such a
built up.
I will say, because when you reunite with your families for the holidays,
right?
We reunited with those Star Wars characters.
And the way they marketed
there is that family reunion.
The way they
type of
marketed
feel.
it, Chewie were home.
Yes.
It's the gang getting back together.
What a teaser that was!
It's so that movie is so magical. It's not by any means my favorite Star Wars film, but it's got a magic that I think the other two don't have. Not to say the other two are bad. The other
it's
two
a different. It's just a different type of feel.
kind of magic. It's
you know what it did too is it set up this world of like, where are they going to go with this? Why is Luke looking at him, her so forlorn at the end? And you had all of these possibilities of what was going to happen in the flashbacks. I remember thinking when I saw that flashback, if you look closely, you see Kylo Ren stab someone in the back. And then that's when that's when Rey's backing up in the rain in the flashback.
Yeah.
I was convinced that they were gonna use, because they've been using things. They said they were gonna borrow from the.
There's always a bit of
universe.
truth in Legends.
Yes, and so I thought that Rey was not Kylo Ren, because obviously not, because he had the helmet off. But I thought that Rey was one of the Knights of Ren, or the Kylo Ren that the other. Basically,
Revan.
I thought Rey was going to pull a Revan, and he was the one in the flashback that was stabbing and killing people.
I mean,
and she'd find out halfway through the saga that, oh my god, I was this bad person. They wiped my memory, threw me on Jakku, and now they're waiting. Yeah, so they didn't do it, but I literally for a while I was like, oh my god, they're going to pull the Revan.
That would have been very cool, but they went another route.
Spoiler alert! If you hadn't played KOTOR, sorry.
Look, that game's so fucking old. Who cares?
Yeah, that's true. And you haven't seen the movie, so
and nobody likes those fucking games, anyways.
I will say,
Frankie, what about you? What's your
I
Christmas
didn't
scene?
really. I don't think I really grew. Well, growing up,
So
I was really the
so
only
we've
one.
got this topic here that none of us really have those strong.
well,
I had strong stories. What are you talking about?
Well, no, I think it's where I'm going to go with this is that growing up, I didn't have really a whole lot of people around me that were as invested with Star Wars as I was. I had a couple cousins that were, but I only saw them during the holiday season, really. And when we got together for the holidays, it was, we weren't really, we playing video games and stuff like that, but we weren't sitting down and watching, 2.5 hour movies.
So to conclude, you guys are a bunch of bah humbugs.
No.
Well, hold on. First off, in the 6th grade, I did play Ebenezer Scrooge, and I nailed it.
I believe it.
Fucking nailed it.
But I don't remember really.
You see that laugh? I'm doing that for your thumbnail, so now you can just grab a shot and be like, ho, ho, ho. That'll be the thumbnail.
Okay, and I'll do one of these.
There you go. Now
Yeah.
you know what to do.
I never.
Yeah, that's what you try to do right now, is try to do a face for his thumbnail.
No, I do plenty of faces already.
He'll find one.
But at the camera? No, you don't.
Who cares?
Yeah, who cares how you look? Right.
I don't. I mean, I do.
You should.
I totally do.
Yeah.
But
I care.
You.
But no,
now kiss your sister, Frank.
Yeah, I didn't really have. I can't remember getting toys or video games for Christmas. Star Wars. I mean, I probably did get Rogue Squadron for Christmas. I'm sure I got Lego sets, for Christmas, but nothing that ever really stuck out. Like I was really clamoring for.
Mm-hmm.
But as I got older, especially basically when Force Awakens came out, during the holiday season, Christmas season, that's when it really became more of a, dang, this really feels, and as an adult, I'm able to, kind of form your own little small traditions, if you will, and little rituals, whatnot.
And like, for me, as I've gotten older, it's become the easy thing for people like to give me, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, get him something Star Wars, right? Like, my parents got me, Star Wars salt shakers and Jill's uncle got me a Star Wars cutting board. It's like
a calendar.
I got a Darth Vader walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
I think I got a calendar for like every day of the year. It was like a Star
that's
Wars
cool.
thing.
Yeah, I
Star
got
Wars
one-
fact.
I
I
got
got
one of
this
those.
book. I got this book called "I Am Your Father." So
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
well, my sister last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago, got me the philosophy of Star Wars.
Oh,
Christmas?
cool.
See, another Christmas.
The
story.
Ken Knapsack book?
No, that's why I love Star Wars.
It's more or less.
friend of the podcast, Ken.
Friend of the podcast. Well, he doesn't like me, but he likes you guys. I'm told. Anyway, yeah. I mean, it's we've got Star Wars ornaments on the tree. My older sister, her tree is all Star Wars ornaments.
Dang.
That's dope.
Like,
Can I tell you?
she's got the Death Star.
I have the Death Star when you
Is
plug
her-
it into the light, the light
That's
fixture
her
thing,
treat.
and you press the button. It's like it was the
Yeah, it
the
makes
third
the-
Death Star.
yeah.
Or, not third.
The second Death Star.
Death Star.
Yeah,
Yeah, the third Death Star was called Star Killer Base. Let's be honest.
I think it's World Devastator's third Death Star.
But it was
Or
really
the,
cool.
Or the Sun,
Fair.
the Sun
I'm,
Crusher.
I'm more or less being the reviewers that were talking.
as
shit.
the years went on, that voice box thing contraption
yeah,
slowly degrades, and so it's just like
yeah. It was
your rebel friends. It's just like
your rebel friends. Yeah, it was super cool. We went to my
I had a little Yoda.
my little niece was born during COVID.
I had the Max Rebo band. I'm sorry. It's okay.
No,
He's
you're
excited.
good, you're
See,
good.
Yeah.
the Christmas.
Yeah, this
look,
is-
you're
yeah.
welcome. I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
brought the
yeah.
Christmas
So-
spirit to Scoundrels Inc.
My
Scoundrels. Scoundrels sink.
See,
I don't know.
Scoundrels Sink or Swim with Kevin Smets.
Yeah.
Bink. My little niece was born during COVID, and so my sister was real careful about that. We didn't really get to see her till things sort of wrapped up, last year, whatever. So we went and spent Christmas at her house last year, and I got a cat hair,
Yeah, well,
and it was super cool to see like the Star Wars tree because I had no idea she had a full Star
That's
Wars
really
tree.
cool.
My niece's room has like the Wampa rug and like all the Star Wars crap. So
Nice.
it's great. Like, it is, my family, most of my family does love Star Wars. So there's always a little bit of Star Wars at Christmas, you know?
Yeah.
It's a tradition now. It's always I don't see a year where I won't watch Force Awakens. I'm jumping ahead. I'm doing the rewatch. I'm still gonna jump ahead and watch it just because like this feels like a Christmas movie to me. But
Yeah, I think I tend to watch probably usually I watch Return or Empire around Christmas. I don't know why.
I'm gonna watch all three. How about that?
Well, sure, yeah.
Let's make
I mean,
sure.
if I've
also,
got-
like this isn't. We don't talk about Lord of the Rings, but I'll watch Fellowship of the Ring. And I'll watch Lord of the Rings during the holidays too. So
I used to do that,
I do
and
that
then I
New
did the Inner Geekdom, and then that made me hate those movies. So when I stop hating those movies again in about 14 years, I
Wow.
will rewatch them again.
I think most people either do Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter.
Oh, Harry Potter's a
around
good one,
around
actually,
New
yeah.
Year's.
but Harry
always-
Potter's also good for
Harry Potter's
Christmas.
good Christmas,
because
yeah.
they always have Christmas. Usually, like they kind of cover Christmas.
yeah,
They cover
Well,
the whole year,
and which is kind of Star Wars because the first Harry Potter movie, the soundtrack is just Star Wars.
but actually, you're talking about the second one, 2002.
both. I had.
The Chamber of Secrets. He actually reuses.
Sure, you're
the
right.
Coruscant chase
You're absolutely right.
during the
You've brought this up.
Quidditch match.
You've brought this up a few times, and you're absolutely right. But what I'm saying is, I had.
Hannah brought it up actually. But.
Yeah, but I want to credit you.
Oh, I don't want to credit where credit is due. It's to our guy. Hannah.
But you're here.
all right, it was mine.
It was me.
Everything's transpired according to my design.
So,
Damn.
so I had the Sorcerer's Stone soundtrack on CD,
Yeah.
and I don't know why I didn't like Harry Potter.
Dumbledore's noble end.
Dumbledore's Noble End. I didn't like Harry Potter that much growing up. It was more my sister's thing, but I loved that soundtrack, and I didn't know why until I was older. But it feels so much like Star Wars.
Yeah. John Williams. They, the best. They do kind of borrow from themselves, and they should be. They're allowed to.
Well, and he also, just like any fucking rock band, they're gonna borrow from it. They have a distinct.
Eventually, you're still
style.
gonna play your greatest hits.
Yeah,
know?
you have a distinct style, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think people want John Williams because it sounds like John Williams. But maybe I think something about John Williams' music feels very Christmassy. Like, you're totally right about Lay's theme. All the Harry Potter soundtracks sound super Christmassy.
Yep. And yeah, race theme for sure. Very Christmassy with the bells.
I think maybe it's because he tends to do a lot more positive sounding music.
Yeah.
Even as like,
Except Schindler's List was a very depressing soundtrack.
well, it'd
Very
be weird.
beautiful,
It'd be
beautiful
weird.
score, but freaking depressing.
It'd be weird if Schindler's List had a positive soundtrack.
Yeah.
It would be. It really would be. Anyways,
Imagine Across the Stars playing like.
Or
Oh
the
my
Benny
gosh.
Hill theme playing during
Is that
during the
hold on.
Stormtroopers raging on Warsaw.
Is the Benny Hill theme John Williams?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. I'm like, wait, am I just learning
And
this?
please, no one edit Schindler's List to the Benny Hill
Oh,
theme.
oh
God.
no!
Well,
I
now
don't
that
even want to
you've
think.
said
I don't
it,
even want
someone's gonna
to
do
think
it.
about this anymore.
Sound off in the comments, though. I'm curious what everyone else's Christmas memories are from, because everybody has them. I'm sure they do, and they, probably a lot more than us, apparently. But
Yeah.
The main one I'll take away though is the Nintendo 64 year with Shadows of the Empire. I just think so fondly.
It's so funny because that's the big one for me too, is getting Rogue Squadron, and I for some reason I remember Battlefront 2, which I'm sure I got Battlefront 1 for Christmas as well, but Battlefront 2 I remember distinctly how fucking excited I was for that game. And I was that was 06. I was fucking 14.
You could ride a Stap as a battle droid during the Battle of Naboo. So sick.
I want to believe or think that one year for Christmas I got a Blu-ray player, and I think I did get Episode 1 along with Shrek on DVD, because those were my two first DVDs I ever owned was Shrek and
both just as goofy.
It's so funny. It's so funny you say that because I distinctly remember getting the original trilogy on DVD for Christmas.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which I still have. I don't have.
You don't have the saga?
No, I don't. I don't own.
That thing at the time was like $100.
I don't own this. The only Star Wars I own on physical media is I own the Phantom Menace VHS.
Nice.
Wow.
And the original trilogy on DVD because my mother's not very good at keeping things. Except the things that she does, keep. Things that she knows have emotional value to her, she keeps. But other things, she's like, it's just a fucking movie. She got rid of all of our, the old Disney clamshell plastics, which are worth fucking money now. Those are all gone. All my Pokemon cards.
Ooh.
I had the AT-AT. I had that. I had.
So you call it AT-AT. Some people call it AT-ATs.
Well, it's an age thing. I have a theory on this.
Well, I just feel like if
my people call it AT-ATs.
If I call it AT-ST, why wouldn't I call the other AT-AT?
And that's my argument too.
Well, of course. I'm not. I'm not arguing one or the other.
But I do think I have noticed it's about 38 to 40 is the cutoff.
My old roommate in college would always call it an AT-AT.
Well,
it's cool to say AT-AT.
I don't think.
I don't think that AT-AT.
I don't think you care about talking about your age on air. Frank does because
43 years old, baby.
Yeah.
43.
I like to keep people.
So
guessing.
Frank, what's your Kevin? What's your birth year?
When 43 you look this good, you will.
So 43. You're born in
79.
79. Whoa.
Wow. Judgmental right there.
Wow. You're almost as old as Star Wars.
I know. 2 years. Star Wars has me on 2 years.
Wow.
Crazy, huh? My earliest movie theater memory was Return of the Jedi. I only have one memory from it. For some reason, when Luke flips up and then and jumps on that platform and he looks down at Vader and says, "Your thoughts betray you." For some reason, I just remember that sequence.
So I think
as a kid at the theater, and then that's the only memory I have. But I remember seeing it as like a 5-year-old.
I think my barometer is if you were born while the original trilogy was still being released, you say AT-AT.
It's probably a
if
sound thing.
If you were born after that, it's AT-AT.
What if you were born at that?
You want to move on to those?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Hey,
we're
we're gonna jump on some fan questions. You want to do that one first?
Yeah, let's do this one first
right.
from Rural Farm Boy, and he sent us an audio video type. I don't know if I'll be able to get the video on the screen, but at least get the audio. So here we go. Let's see.
How do, Scoundrels Inc. Goofball boys. This is your listener pal, Rural Farm Boy. You know me in the Twitterverse. Just sitting here working my way through my playlist still, because that's what I do, one by one, after another, and got this fella right now. You know who he is. But seen in Twitterverse, you posted up a question, want some listener questions. All right, I got one. And my question is based on some other friends, Twitterverse and whatnot, and Star Wars friends, having some fun with this little bit of I call bullshit. I want Yin's boys to speak to how in the hell does the Galactic Empire keep an iron grip in that galaxy far, far away for nearly 30 years with what some folks calls incompetent soldiers in relation to Stormtroopers can't hit a broadside of a bantha, because I'm calling bullshit right now.
So
We've
Wait,
already
he's still
seen
going?
in places both on screen and in stories either read or listened to exactly how effective they are. So there's the question, because I ain't buying it, and I want to hear what Eden's boys got to say, and we'll be looking forward to listening to it in both my playlist and hope other friends are too. So till then,
so do I.
and what other all shenanigans you got coming. Till then, boys, may the force be with each of you.
And may the fourth be with you.
All
So,
right.
all right, I love this question. I love this question. It's one of those questions that I get a lot from people who are like, oh, you like, here's my complaint about Star Wars. I love this question because it speaks to the nature of not, to me, this is not an in-universe question, right? Because to me, this comes to the nature of storytelling. There's a difference between telling a fairy, because Star Wars to me is a fairy tale. The saga trilogy is a especially the original trilogy is a fairy tale more so than anything. The heroes win, the bad guys lose. It's telling the hero's journey, and them fighting the Stormtroopers is not a pinnacle for the tale, right? It's backdrop for the big motions of the story moving. Han and Leia taking Endor, and Luke fighting Vader, Luke confronting Vader on Bespin, right? Them escaping through the halls of Bespin is more a matter of, hey, their escape is the story. Their individual fights and battles with Stormtroopers are not part of that story, right? It's a run and gun, swashbuckling adventure, more so than anything. But in other mediums, if you go to a lot of the books, a lot of the Legends books, a lot of the current canon books, I'm going to cite Twilight Company is a big one for this. The Stormtroopers are threatening, so much so that in a lot of the EU stuff, they talk about the Imperial Army Troopers because they need something that's less threatening than a Stormtrooper, right? In The Mandalorian, the only reason the Stormtroopers aren't threatening is because Din's wearing Beskar, right? But they can hit no problem. But the reason they can hit him no problem is because he is invincible in another form, right? So to me, it's a storytelling thing, right? I do think the Stormtroopers are not incompetent. I think they are supposed to be elite soldiers. I do have a problem. That's one of the reasons. That's one of my big issues with Rebels. There's a scene where Rex is dressed like Imperial Stormtrooper. Him and Kanan. I forget what they're doing, but they're going through an Imperial base dressed like Stormtroopers, and Rex is bitching about how he can't see anything. No wonder they can't hit anything, right? But that's not supposed to be the story of Star Wars. The story of Star Wars is supposed to be the Stormtroopers are threatening and, whatever. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, I will say in terms of, I think it is a big storytelling device of, in terms of it puts our heroes in danger, but not so much danger that they can't get out of it. In terms of why, in terms of, I guess, an in-universe reason of why the Empire can hold such a grip on the universe is because if they can't really hit a whole lot of, the broadside of a bantha, well, then they're just going to have to bring in 50 just to, up their odds of hitting the target. And
That's my answer. I got
just-
2 words.
Yeah.
Sheer numbers.
Yeah, number-wise,
The Empire-
you just swarm. Yeah.
The Empire had enough where they can literally flood the galaxy with stormtroopers, and they just were able to have their iron grip because they had more. It's actually an old Russian proverb where it's the advantage of Russian battlefields back in in World War II. It was the quantity of their soldiers,
Yeah.
not the quality. So,
Yeah.
Well, and the sheer terror of the Russian winter.
Yeah.
doesn't help
too,
either.
yeah.
I do have a couple other thoughts on this though that I'll just quickly brush on. Like the heroes were also kind of guided by the Force, right? That's one thing to say about it.
Yeah, like in Rogue One, where like
Yeah.
when Chirrut's going towards the console, whatever,
Right.
And they're just barely off because the Death Troopers,
Yeah.
the elite of the elite, can't hit him
Because
and
he's
the
one with
influence
the
of
Force.
the Force. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there is an element to that as well.
And the other thing is that the Empire didn't necessarily win because of their troops on the ground. The Empire won by star systems, not by planets, right? So the Star Destroyer won the Empire.
Sure.
The TIE Fighter won the Empire. Because while we see X-Wings and A-Wings able to fucking chew through TIE Fighters, not every planet had X-Wings and A-Wings. There were only a handful of X-Wings even in service.
It goes back to the numbers thing,
You know.
just the sheer volume.
And there's so many planets too, and you think that like the planetary defenses might be something as pathetic as like what Earth would have if we had to go up against
Right.
X-wings, and it's like,
Right.
well, Maverick could handle it.
because
Maverick, but everybody else.
this is actually another point too. People always say like, why are the stormtroopers wearing armor? It's so ineffectual. Well, the stormtrooper armor is meant to stop shrapnel, not blaster bolts.
Yeah.
So you figure they're more worried about things exploding near them.
Yeah.
Which means they're going to be way more equipped to fight us than
Sure.
anything with
For civilian, yeah.
But because most people fighting, the stormtroopers.
There isn't another army out there
Right.
that's going up
Right,
against the stormtrooper.
exactly.
It's all civilian martial law type of thing going on.
Yeah, it's just rebels. It's what we see in Andor, right? When the folks in Andor decide to actually start fighting, they can fight just fine. But the problem is that no one wants to start fighting. All right, we got one more question from the Twitter.
From the tweet.
And that is from Johnny Champagne.
What a name.
His name's John Booze. Actually, I don't know what his real name is. It's not his real name.
Well, what's his Twitter name? What's his Twitter handle?
Well, his Twitter handle is at Original Reboot,
Okay.
but his Twitter name is Johnny Champagne.
Love it. What's his
I'll
question?
never play poker against a guy named Johnny Champagne. I just feel like he would beat us.
Not like Johnny Tran. It's Johnny Champagne.
His question, and I wish Brandon was here to read this in the voice. For reasons we cannot explain, we are losing her. Was it Sheev all along?
Well,
We've talked
told you
about
my
this
theory.
a week or two ago, and I don't like the idea that it was Sheev because I think it takes away from the love between Anakin and Padme, or at least the love that Padme has for Anakin. That she can't stand that Anakin has turned to the
She
dark
was such
side,
a strong
and it
person,
takes.
though.
And it's very
Padme.
it's
And
very
it's like-
conflicting because it's like.
Damsel in distress is gonna die because her boyfriend.
Well,
turned
it's
bad.
also like what your kids aren't enough for you to keep going.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
so
Yeah.
there's some things
That's
where you just
because
have to
she
just
sucked her life force, and in my head canon went through
All right.
my head and then put it into Anakin because no self-respecting, powerful woman like Padme would just let herself die because of a broken heart. She would be like, "I'm gonna live for my kids and make sure they don't make the same
All right, I'm
mistakes."
gonna-
Anakin
But to be
had."
fair, she
I'm
didn't
gonna-
really know them as long as she knew Anakin. So
Can I pitch you guys a middle ground?
you could try.
All right.
I have the high ground. Then.
Right, but we're gonna pitch the middle ground here.
It's over, Anakin. Kind of. I have the middle ground.
I have the middle ground.
Well,
It's over, Anakin. I'm a fence sitter. So it could have been because Palpatine made sure to tell Anakin, in your anger, you
Yeah,
killed.
yeah.
Right? Whatever.
it's more manipulation.
It's more manipulation. Palpatine might not have, siphoned the life out of Padme, but he might have sent the influence and the emotion that Obi-Wan killed Anakin. Anakin's dead. The love of your life, the father of your children is dead. Do you really want to face that one of your closest friends murdered the love of your life? So it might have been the sheer dread from that she didn't have the will to live because she didn't have the will to face it. I don't know about you guys, but look, my mental health's not great all the time. Sometimes I don't want to get out of bed because I don't want to deal with something. Maybe she just didn't want to deal with it.
I mean, sure.
That's a greater and darker path to talk about.
It's even more.
And it's real.
And you know what? It's even darker than Palpatine sucking the
It
life
really
out of
is.
Right?
Absolutely. And it, I mean, you see from the celebrities all the time. There was one that recently committed suicide that had 2 kids, and you're like, how do they do that?
yeah.
But you never know how dark it gets for people. So I get that. But when we're talking about Star Wars and the myth and the mythology of it, I just like to think that the droids just couldn't pick up what was going on.
Well, it's Romeo and Juliet, right? Like the Anakin and Padme is just Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely. Well,
All right. That's John Booze.
Great question. Thank you.
John Booze. Thank you for that. And I'm sure I'll talk to you tomorrow when we play video games.
nerds.
Nerds. You met John at Celebration, didn't you?
I met a lot of people.
Okay. Cool. Anyways, all right. From Will Be these are coming. These next set are coming from our Discord. Look, guys, you can find our Discord link down in
Popping
the
off now, dude.
Well, we're trying to use it more. We're trying to be better about it.
Yeah. So go get in there.
We're only going to pull questions from the Discord. So if you're getting those on Twitter,
Because we do have a lot from the Discord.
if you're getting those questions in on Twitter, maybe consider joining the Discord because one of these weeks I'm not going to ask.
Or double up. Just make sure we
or
see it.
send us the question twice.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I miss things. This one's from Will Be None. What are your favorite scenes from Andor?
Ooh, okay. Favorite scene from Andor. One of them, I think, is honestly just the opening shot of the series.
Oh, it's so good.
It's
okay.
Just what did you point
Well,
at?
he
Kev?
skips it.
Oh
No, we're not talking about. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the actual opening shot.
the actual
on-
opening shot. I do like
What was the opening shot?
the
Remind me.
we're tracking the light, so the camera's looking up at the light and it's moving, blah blah blah, and that's when Cassian's walking down.
Oh, yeah.
I just like the whole establishing.
that
sequence.
That cyberpunk aesthetic.
Yeah, but aside from that, it's going to be Luthen's speech, Marva's speech. Those two really hit so hard for me, and then the Eldani heist. Specifically, I will say the when Cassian's flying through the eye.
That would be
Yeah.
in retrospect, it's been several weeks now. Like, I think that the one thing that I could just look back and take away, my mind blown was the eye.
Yeah.
The whole sequence with the eye. I would say that would probably be up there as my top.
Yeah,
I think for me it's going to be those more like that opening shot, the shot of Cassian running from what's the fucking planet called?
He's on a few. I don't know which one you're.
In the first
Morlana 1?
Morlana.
Yeah.
Him running from Morlana 1 after killing the security personnel.
Yeah.
That whole Morlana 1 scene for me set the tone for that show.
Yeah.
In a way that I loved. Or the first battle on Ferrix, where they ram the speeder bike into the speeder and it explodes.
Oh, when Luthen and Cassian are escaping?
Yeah, when they're
Okay.
escaping.
Yeah.
That those two scenes to me stick out. That first 3 episodes I think are my favorite arc.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, because of the minutia,
Sure.
the minutia of Star Wars, right?
Definitely.
So I think those are my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
Brandon. Cool. Next is from Nep Nep, which sounds like a Star Wars alien.
Yeah, from
Nep Nep.
Yum Nub.
Nep Nep. This is a question for Kevin.
Oh.
And Kevin only.
Uh-oh.
Although Frank and I are going to answer it. In fact, Frank and I will answer first.
Okay.
When you look at the Loganverse KOTOR fan films,
Yes.
when you first started versus where they are now, what strikes you as the biggest improvement? What would you have considered doing differently from the start? So I think, I
Here we go.
think if they had recast the lead, personally, I don't like the voice actor they have for Revan.
All right.
I think he sounds whiny. He reminds me a lot of Luke Skywalker.
Oh.
Frank?
I would concur.
Okay,
Because I got
Kevin, what about you? I mean, wait, I haven't seen your movies, so
Yeah,
I don't
I know
know.
what you're
I
talking
don't know who your lead is.
Well done. I would say I created the games using the Xbox footage in the very beginning. And if you watch the earliest uploads on my channel, there's hit points on there and the HUD.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's,
Yeah.
Oh, it's real rough. And then
It's not rough. It's not rough. It's exactly what Red vs. Blue was doing at the time.
Yeah, at that time it was great, and redoing it with the special edition obviously made it way more cinematic. But back then I chose the face for Revan, which it's a lot of people say it's the Fu Manchu face.
Oh,
That's what they
yeah.
call it because it's the Asian face, and even in the naming of the characters on the files, I think it's ASN, because there's a female Asian and a male Asian. But I always didn't look at him that way. It was that was the character I played as. So when I made the first movie, I wanted it to be that guy. And there was no head canon for Revan yet. And then eventually they decided what Revan kind of looked like with the long hair in the MMO and official art or whatnot. And so a lot of people in the comments, including just even now, with the trailer, which is killing it right now. I think it's at 40,000 views.
That's awesome.
But a lot of the people that are stumbling upon it now from suggested videos that might not have been fans from it before, they're like, why did you use, there's someone that's like, why did you use that face for Revan? And I used to always say, the log line was always like, look, back then you can choose whether Revan was male or female, whatever face you wanted to. It could be white, black, Asian, it didn't matter. Like, and that was the beauty of the game is Revan was you. It was who you wanted it to be. And so that's the spirit of it. But really, if I were to go back, if I had a time machine, I would make it the canonical face because that's like one of the things that some people... They're like, you know what I mean? I like the Revan face now because that's ingrained. That's the Logan verse. And we always say the Logan verse movies, you're going to know if it's that face, that because no one really used that in their Machinima movies or whatnot. So I'm proud of it. And I see him as the Logan star. He is Logan star. He is the Revan of our series. But you know, I guess if I were to go back, you know, if we're talking time machine here, yeah, if I was clairvoyant and I knew what face they were going to use for Revan, I would have done it because then it could have matched all media. But at the end of the day, Logan verse is its own thing.
Can I just say that's such a good answer?
Oh, thank you.
Like,
well, I guess it's
so it is recasting the main lead if you think about it.
Yeah, well, but I mean, you could have given a cop-out answer, and that's a legit answer.
Yeah, I mean, it would literally redo everything. But and look, we're staying true to the earliest movies that are made back in 2004, 2005.
I've got a follow.
Stick true.
I've got a follow-up question for you. Did you watch a lot of Machinima or like Red vs. Like, were you like, did Red vs. Blue make you go, hey, I want to do this?
No. That's the thing. I discovered all of that after.
Oh wow.
And Red vs. Blue, which I loved. I discovered that because I
think
because it's more
still
comedic.
Going.
Really? No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, oh my gosh.
And now they like CGI shit. It's crazy.
Whole thing. Yeah. I mean, so yeah, that's what I would do. And like if you want to see old school clips, like from the very beginning, like because there was a cheat on the KOTOR game where you could free the camera, but I didn't learn that until about 30 minutes of screen time into the movie because I was filming it in chronological order.
Yeah,
and then I finally
that's the
learned,
only way you can.
The original, like literally, like the first 30 minutes, like you see numbers, hit points, and like just pushed in. It's real rough, and so it's cool, like to see the before and after. I should do some before and after videos as we keep the content going on the channel. So
that'd be cool. That's cool.
Good question.
Yeah, I like that question a lot. All right, what's the story behind Darth Bandon's voice between the two versions of Veil of the Dark Side? This is another question for you.
You can take that one.
I think Darth.
Let's see. Try to make a guess. Try to make an educated guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Darth Bandon, I mean, originally we had Josh Hutcherson doing the voice, and after the accusations came out with him, we just when we did the remaster of it, we figured, this is really more of a Ken Jeong role. And Josh Hutcherson was never the right choice from the beginning. We had talked to The Rock. We were in casting negotiations for The Rock, but it just didn't pan out.
Yeah.
So,
okay, close. The original, again, was like real rough, and the character was voiced by a guy from Ireland who actually helped me a lot flesh out like how I was going to do the order. He was cool. He was a fan. But he was from Ireland, and he did the voice, and admittedly, he wasn't an actor.
Seamus O'Leary.
He didn't want to do it, but like the original Vanden voice was literally like, I mean, I'm doing a horrible Irish accent, so I won't even try it.
It's not Brandon, right? It's Darth Vanden.
I know. I keep wanting to say Brandon.
I know, they call it Darth Bandon. Yeah, it's so funny. But he was an Irish lad, but he didn't even want to be in it. So, and he even admittedly, and like I did a lot of voice modulation to try to hide it because he just wasn't like it was like instead of being like he was like, and I will find the master because that's what I'm going to do. I'm a dark side, like that's bad. But like so, then I tried to lower his voice and modulate it, and then in the end, you just couldn't understand him. So then I had a friend who's actually literally a professional voice actor who's actually done like TV shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that.
You got Mike?
No, Josh Breeding. But Josh Breeding decided he ended up revoicing it and made it more legible and sounded more like a Sith Lord. And the guy that got replaced was totally fine with it. He was actually stoked. Like he never wanted to be on it in the first place. So there's your answer. It was just we wanted to have the guy sound more Sith-like and less like an Irish damsel in distress. Then pitched down and added like I tried everything to try, and he would admit it. So yeah,
and
he's a good dude. Shout out to you, Stephen.
And I'll just say on that, I agree with Kevin.
Everything Kevin said sounds right.
Thank you.
I mean, my story was a little more thrilling.
Yeah. I feel like whenever we get KOTOR questions, I want you guys to answer them first.
First. All right, the next question is, and I'm going to butcher this name.
Good.
I think it is Aitinama.
Let's see.
Yeah.
It is
Ihetnama. Ihetna Mama. Well, since I'm holding it, I'll read it for
Say,
you.
you know what?
Yeah,
say
yeah,
it.
just read
Say
it.
anything Irish. Just say the name in the Irish accent.
I'm Darth Brandon.
No.
I know. I will. Ihetna Mama.
I don't even know what's going on.
I will have no trouble finding them in Tatooine, my lord. They were quite elusive, but I will find them and bring them to you. Imagine that. I'm getting
Oh my
the
gosh.
dailies back, and I'm like, oh man.
Oh my gosh.
So but then it sounded like this. I will find them because I just tried
Wow.
to like, yeah.
Okay.
What would you think about video games focusing on legacy characters instead of new characters, like a game focusing on Han, Luke, or Leia? I feel like games and animation are the best ways to explore these characters without CGI dealing nonsense. Without CGI without CGI de-aging nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the instead clause there, but yeah, I think
Why not?
that's because that means we won't get.
No, I'm saying why. I'm agreeing
Yeah.
with you.
I don't like the instead clause there because I think that some of the most interesting characters we've gotten out of the new canon stuff is Iden and Cal and stuff from these smaller, not really smaller, but smaller compared to the movies and the shows scope of things, right? And like in the animation, and I think that's the place that it's best to introduce these new characters. I also would like to see some of those new characters introduced in movies.
Except Cal Kestis, who you just want to stay only in video games. Remember? From
I
last
would.
week.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, I don't mind the movies introducing new characters as well.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Right. Like Kira is a great example.
Are you talking about my daughter?
No, I'm talking about the Q, not the K.
Q. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I would love. I would love if they're not going to make Solo 2. Give us Solo.
Oh, imagine that.
It's a video game.
Solo Sands of Tatooine.
Bro, freaking multiplayer Ahsoka and Anakin, like Clone Wars missions.
That'd be dope. Although I think that exists actually from back in the day. It's not a very good game.
Really?
Yeah,
With Ahsoka in
there's
it?
I have to double check. There's a Clone Wars game I have on Steam.
But like, imagine like on the level of like Fallen Order or whatnot, and you have like a full like Ahsoka game that takes place during like her novel, or maybe you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
after she left the Jedi
I mean,
Order.
that's the thing, right? Like, there's so much you can do. But I think the question more is about like if we're looking at our legacy characters, our original trilogy characters,
yeah.
right? Yeah, I would love a Han Solo game or a Luke Skywalker game, right? Give me a game going on Luke's travels, post Return of the Jedi.
I would like an Owen Lars game where you
Yeah.
farm. It's a farming game.
It's
like Stardew or whatever it's called.
Moisture Farmville.
Yeah. Yeah. I would just kind of want a remake of Shadows of the Empire for like a PS5.
Oh, dash.
I
mean,
don't want a
you know.
remake. I want a complete reboot reimagining of it.
No, I want a remake. I want a remake. I do because like they remade Final Fantasy VII, and you know what? Do it in the vein of Final Fantasy VII.
I think
That was new enough. Like,
yeah, it was.
they had
It,
so
it
much
was. It was
stuff
like
going on.
part of. It was remaking the first part of that game, and then it's supposed to spin off
figure out a way to
into
spin it off,
and so like I think that'd be fun to do that with Shadows of the Empire if they wanted to go that route. But in terms of, I think you could take a lot of some of the Star Wars comics, that comic line, and turn some of those stories into a playable game with those characters. And I think that would still keep the canon intact, but you can play, those storylines.
I had software called Click and Play. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it. It was easy to make. Like, it's like Game Maker. You can make your own video games. And I made a translation. I started anyway of the Jedi Academy trilogy. That's the one with Kip Durin and Han Solo. And if you remember, they first arrive on Kessel and they get attacked by a bunch of like random like ships. And I remember translating the novel. I even made a cutscene of it. It looked like I ripped graphics from actually Super Star Wars. So it was like that kind of graphics. But I had like the Millennium Falcon, and the first level was a Millennium Falcon game, but it was kind of like Gradius or any of those shoot 'em up games, R-Type or whatever. But you had to fight like against X-Wings and TIE fighters, because in the novel, if you remember, they get ambushed by an army over Kessel, and the scavengers, they're flying to X-Wings, TIE fighters, everything, and they get captured, and that's how he ends up meeting Kip Durin in the spice mines of Kessel. But so I made a video game based on one of the books.
Nice.
So, but
You know,
I
I'm
started to. And
I'm also
I stopped.
thinking about what if we got like a video game of Ahsoka and Sabine in between Rebels and Ahsoka. Like, what were they up to?
Yeah, dude,
that'd be
it'd be
fun.
sick,
Even
bro.
if it was Lego, I don't
Dude,
care.
it'll be like a Bejeweled. Maybe it could be like a Jeweled
Oh
game.
my gosh,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Super puzzle bobble fighter.
We got
Ahsoka.
any more? We got any more questions?
We got one more question.
One more
and
question.
it's from
Let's make our last one. We wrap it up.
I don't want to get this name wrong. Paul Denuzio.
Oh,
Paul Denuzio.
Sounds like a scoundrel.
Plid.
I definitely am not pronouncing his last name wrong. Never, ever.
Denuzzo.
It's Denuzzo. Paul
Right.
Denuzzo. PLD. One of the scoundrels whose name we stole.
Sort of.
What was their name called again?
Who cares? Scoundrels of the Force with Matt Gunner and
Yeah, that's not our title.
I don't know. Jarvie was maybe on the show. Anyways, apart from the Ghost Crew and Thrawn, what animated or book/game character, what existing character, would you want to see make the jump to live action? This is an easy one for me. Iden Versio.
Yes, 100.
Because you have Janina Gavankar, who you've worked with before, who looks like their character. You've continued to work with her because she was the voice of Ahsoka's mom. Like, fucking put Janina on screen in that fucking Inferno Squadron armor. Have her try to kill Cassian. I don't know.
I mean, you could. I mean, that'd be really interesting. But I mean, you could also have Iden's character post Return of the Jedi, post turning on the Empire, and put her in the Mandoverse. She would fit. She could easily fit into the
that's
Mandoverse.
good. That's good. Or in the depending on when they set the Rogue Squadron movies.
True.
Yeah.
There's that.
Yeah.
I got an answer for you.
Okay.
And you get a little preview of it when you go to Galaxy's Edge. Hondo.
Yeah.
I think Hondo live action would be cool. And the closest you'll get, I mean, that animatronic, it's not an animatronic that's made in the vein of the Clone Wars art. It's an animatronic that's like if that was Hondo standing there.
Frank and I just talked about this on Scoundrels.
We did. That's right. I was like, this sounds familiar. But that
During
because it was in a
Scoundrels
drunken
Dream?
haze.
What
Yeah.
part?
We talked about Hondo Onaka.
Yeah, I was like,
I know you
oh,
talked about
he's
it.
on Rise of the Resistance, right? And
And-
he's like,
yeah.
no, it's Smugglers.
Yeah,
Run.
because he keeps saying Rise of the Resistance. And yeah, I would love to see him.
That'd be
I mean, I fucking love
Did
that.
you like that? Now that we could talk, we didn't have a show at the time. Did you think they nailed Cad Bane? Because I know some people thought they didn't.
I think it's fine.
I think Cad Bane was kind of scary looking, so yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
nailed
fine. I understand people who, and the same issue with the Grand Inquisitor, right? Like when you translate from animation to live action, it's not going to be perfect. But I mean, Corey Burton is Cad Bane, and
Because animation too, it's like it has a style, right?
It's
like
got
the
a style,
long
and
head
then-
of the Inquisitor. I saw someone did a digital re-edit of the Obi-Wan trailer,
it looks so
and it
weird.
they stretch his head out to make it look like the animated
Yeah.
version. And then someone also did that with the Cad Bane, where they made him look more
Well,
like the
the-
Clone Wars
The
version.
Cad Bane actually looked a little bit better,
Yeah.
but still,
Well, I
I
think-
think you apply
so-
that to an actual live action.
So I think the other way, right? I think that Cad Bane, I like how Cad Bane ended up looking in Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Better than the fan edited version of it.
Oh,
but,
sure.
But
Yeah.
because the Grand Inquisitor is a Powuan or a Powan, and we've seen Powans before
in Revenges.
in Revenge of the Sith, Tian Madon.
And
Udapau?
Udapau.
Oh, that,
yeah.
I didn't know they.
Powan.
Yeah,
they're the
Yeah.
same. They're the same species.
How did that go over my head?
So they're the same species. So why does the Grand Inquisitor look different? Right. So that's my issue.
It's because a door landed on his head and crushed him. He was trying to go through like the Stormtrooper.
Yeah, he
the
was-
same door
he
was
was
falling.
right.
in.
He was right behind Yaddle. We just didn't see him. He was off screen. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that's a good one.
Any other?
Yeah. Who do you got?
Who else? I guess Shizor. I mean, would be interesting to bring.
Shizor would be-
into
And
live-
Dash Rendar too.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, Shizor would be interesting.
We've already seen him.
They've
a little
kind
bit
of
in Clone
avoided.
Wars.
They've kind of avoided Shizor a little bit, and actually, they retconned one of Dash's things. I didn't know.
mean,
Oh fuck, who was it? Alex just did a video on this.
I don't.
That originally Dash was partially responsible for revealing the existence of the second Death Star.
Oh, right,
but-
with the Bothans.
But
and he was
now
about the
it's
Bothans.
Kira
Kira,
and yeah,
the Crimson Dawn.
yeah. Which originally it was Dash getting it from
So Kira's alive during Return of the Jedi, huh?
maybe, yeah.
I mean,
I'm
she has
curious-
a
I'm curious what their
whole
final
other story.
nail in the
yeah.
casket is between them, her, and Han. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
Han
yeah.
will
I know
eventually
that-
be like,
I know
"Dude,
that
you
they-
ditched me again.
They did see it.
I know that they do re-encounter
Connect.
each other.
Yeah, reconnect.
They what?
Yeah.
They do reconnect at some point, but
in canon already. There's a
yeah,
comic
in the
or something?
comics,
yeah.
yeah. But I don't because I don't follow the comics that well. I don't know.
I'm
I just don't
curious.
got time. I don't,
feel
I don't
like
have
would've
time.
known that.
You gotta watch Alex's channel.
If someone can do audiobooks of the comics for me, that'd be great.
They do. There's
do
a
they?
couple channels. Oh man,
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
that's
Check it out.
There's some really good ones. I think Star Wars comics are, forget what it is, but they do everything and it's fantastic.
cool.
Got it.
That's
Cool.
very
Cool. All right. Well, hey guys, look, that's the show. Next week, you're gonna get us again on Thursday, and the following week you also get a Monday. I think
That's right.
That's how the
That's right.
timeline
Does
works.
this
Right.
air before or is the next episode going to air? Not this episode.
The next week we will be doing on Thursday we will be doing a breakdown of season 1 of
No. No.
No?
We're replacing that with our Skywalker Saga breakdown.
I thought that was on Monday.
No.
Because Monday okay.
I'm so confused. You'll find out. But
Yeah.
No. I'll tell you right now.
stay tuned.
I can just tell you right now.
All right.
So next Thursday is a breakdown of episode 4, A New Hope.
yes, but something happens before that Thursday,
Nope.
which is I'm trying to get to.
Nope.
Yes. Wednesday.
Nope.
Can I talk? Wednesday, December 28th. Episode 3 of Shadow of the Sith, our KOTOR 3 series. premiering.
We're
That's what I'm
talking
trying to
about
get at.
one thing and you slither into another thing.
Gotta slither it in. I gotta get my promo in. December 28th, before the next time we see you, keep your eye on the KOTOR channel. It's gonna be exciting. We're gonna do a live premiere again. That was really fun with the trailer. A lot of people showed up at the same time. That was pretty cool. So December 28th. I don't know exactly what time yet, but keep your eyes peeled for the 3rd episode of our KOTOR 3 series, Shadow of the Sith.
Yeah.
Then on Thursday, we're going to talk about A New Hope.
A New Hope. That's right.
And then on Monday we're talking about
And then on Monday, we are not talking about anything. It's the following
When's the
Thursday.
Bad Batch thing?
The 5th.
Oh.
so
Yeah. I'm going to make a
all right,
community post.
and
and
hold
you're going to
on.
go back and look
No,
at the
no,
schedule.
I'm gonna take issue with this.
Uh-oh. He has issues, guys.
Next week on Thursday we should do
I'm fine.
we should
however they
discuss
decide.
Bad Batch season 1.
Okay.
And then Monday, because
Look at- this is a peek behind the curtain, guys, of
the other saga episodes
these
are
two.
coming out on Mondays, right? Because we're gonna
Yes.
do Bad Batch will come out on Thursday, the day after
Right.
Bad Batch airs. So next week we should talk about Bad Batch season 1, our thoughts, what we expect
Okay.
out of season 2, and then Monday we'll do New Hope.
All right.
And
Look
then
at the
Thursdays-
talent.
If you-
Getting,
if
look
you-
at the
if-
talent getting all diva with our producer here.
If you want to do more content like that, sure.
I want to do more content.
Okay.
Hey,
I think
Frank,
these.
I thought that the schedule you made was just fine. Whatever you need me to do, I'll be there.
well, to be fair,
And,
to be
that's
fair,
how it
I'm
is
going
when
off,
you're an easy
I'm going off what I
person.
thought the schedule you made was.
Well, then you thought wrong because it's not like that in the schedule
Yeah,
that
because
I
thought
just looked at.
because I thought better of you, Frank.
Hey, Frank, I just want you to know that I appreciate your schedule, and I'll be here whenever you need me, whatever to do.
Yeah, guys, we'll be here. You're getting content next week. Who cares what it is?
Yeah.
Just enjoy. Just
I care.
Aren't we gonna? I thought we were gonna do a frame for frame, minute by minute podcast exploring episode 3 of my KOTOR series. Right? That's what that was gonna be.
That's on the Patreon.
Oh yeah, it's Patreon only.
Hey, you guys!
All right, let's eat this chocolate.
We
So,
forgot to eat the chocolate.
because by the time we come back, Christmas will be over, so we have to eat the rest of it.
No, I think we're saving the last couple for when Brandon's back. So, oh no, Brandon's not back for a while.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so we're does it? I don't think I'm just gonna eat from the top.
Well, hold on.
No,
hold on,
that's
hold on,
no.
hold
You
on.
do by numbers,
Wait,
pal.
Okay,
Does it end on 24 or 25?
it ends on we got 24 right there, and it ends 24.
Okay, so leave 24 for Brandon.
Okay, but I'm kind of hungry for some chocolate,
Well, there's plenty of chocolate to go around.
I haven't eaten all day. All right, number 15. It's gone.
Wow, someone's sneaking in and getting their chocolate fix.
Number 16.
chocolate.
All right, go 17. So
No, I'm gonna be a dick, and I'm gonna go 19.
So what's
Wow.
your
Aren't you
favorite,
supposed to show it? Yeah.
What's your favorite chocolate related Star Wars memory?
Tis the season for the bounty.
nice.
La 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 la. You're disintegrated.
La 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 la.
I
But
feel like
yes,
this is everybody's favorite.
but
segment
next
of the
week
show.
we will have Bad Batch season 1 recap.
We
our
will. I
thoughts
thought
on
we
it.
decided we were
No, we are. It's gonna be a shorter type of episode, but then on
Omega guy.
yeah, and then there'll also be a New Hope breakdown. So also, if you have questions, thoughts about episode 1 or episode 4, we are doing in release order when we're covering them. We're doing in release order because that's how we all saw them. Okay, that's how we all saw it. It wasn't
What?
in sequential order. We
Is
saw
it?
it.
Actually,
Yeah.
Kevin saw Return first.
probably.
I said release order.
Yeah, Kevin saw Return.
I got Baby Yoda. I got more chocolate.
Oh, I forgot what I ate, but it was probably a Baby Yoda too. All right, what we got? We got two more.
This is the most exciting segment.
We got
of the
two
show.
more. You're 21 or 23? Which one you want to do?
What about 22?
We already ate 22.
You look 21. You look like you pulled the ears off of Gundar.
I want Kevin to have 21.
Why?
I just do.
I'm gonna
Thanks,
have 23.
bro.
I'm gonna
Tis
have
the season.
23.
To be married.
And you can have 21 right there. And we're saving 24 for Brandon, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe I'm going to eat 24 right now, too, just to screw over Brandon.
Wow.
Oh, it's a frog. The frog that...
Kind of weird that there isn't a 25, right? I mean,
No, because
one's gone.
it's leading
I feel
up.
like you're-
It's leading up to Christmas.
No,
Yeah, but
where's
it's
the
like-
25? You're
I
right.
wanna
No,
celebrate
there's got to
the
be 25.
I'm going through it right now. Like,
Maybe on the other side.
Guys,
is it on the back?
what happened?
No, it just has 24 milk chocolates.
That's...
What happened to 25? Will we ever find out? Tune in next week.
Scoundrel. Scoundrel. I like the sound of that.